Friends, concentrate on the Divine Master and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Shanti Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Sthapakaya Chadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Chadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying the teachings of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We have taken the subject, the Ramakrishna Ideal. In the last 2 or 3 classes, we have been discussing many aspects of this ideal. How Sri Ramakrishna has become the teacher of the universe. Sri Ramakrishna has come at the right time to establish harmony among different religions. It was very important. People got confused. People would quarrel, and they didn't have clear understanding of the principles of religion. In general, people at large would have narrow ideas and would be influenced by a certain type of fanaticism. So, here we understand the significance of the Ramakrishna Ideal. He has come to establish harmony among the different religions. Spiritual life has 3 aspects. One is the ideal, the second one the ultimate reality, which the spiritual seeker wants to achieve, and thirdly, the means to the goal. And finally, the actual experience resulting from the realization of the ideal in life. So there are 3 aspects. One is tattva, then hita and purushartha. So we have discussed some points regarding Tattva, the ultimate ideal or reality. How Sri Ramakrishna established harmony between the ideal of the personal God and the ideal of the impersonal God. God as a person is the object of love and devotion, whereas God as the impersonal absolute is the goal of knowledge. Anyway, there are three systems of Vedanta dealing with this ideal. One is non-dualism, and the second one is qualified monism, and the third one is dualism. Sri Ramakrishna accepts all these three. He says that the impersonal and the personal are the static and dynamic aspects of one and the same ultimate reality. He gives a specific name. One is Nitya, the other one is Leela, Brahman and Kali, respectively. So in the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna tells the Brahman and Shakti are identical. If you accept the one, you must accept the other. It is like fire and its power to burn. If you see the fire, you must recognize its power to burn also. You can't think of fire without its power to burn, nor can you think of the power to burn without fire. You cannot conceive of the sun's rays without the sun, nor can you conceive of the sun without its rays. Again he gives another simile. What is milk? Oh, you say it is something white. You can't think of the milk without the whiteness, and again you can't think of the whiteness without the milk. So, you can't think of Brahman without Shakti or Shakti without Brahman. So, one cannot think of the absolute without the relative or of the relative without the absolute. The primordial power is ever at play. The way how the universe is going on with tremendous activity, how the Shakti is manifesting in diverse ways, you should be able to understand it. The primordial power, which is called as Shakti, it is creating, it is preserving, it is destroying in play as it were. Probably you might have seen some children playing. I have seen when I was a boy. We used to go to sand bed and prepare different types of shapes out of the sand. And immediately we break it also. So, doing, undoing, both we are doing. Just a play. In the same way, the whole universe is mere play of the divine. The power that is playing in this universe is called Kali. That power is not different from Brahman, which I have already said in the beginning. So, Kali is verily Brahman and Brahman is verily Kali. It is one and the same reality. When we think of it as inactive, that is to say, when it is not engaged in the acts of creation, preservation and destruction, then we call it Brahman. But when it engages in these activities, then we call it Kali or Shakti. It is interesting to note that this concept of the master is supported by two aphorisms in the Brahma Sutra, one of the three fundamental scriptures of the Vedanta. If you have to become the student of Vedanta, you must have the thorough knowledge of these three fundamental scriptures. One is Brahma Sutra, second one is Upanishads, third one is Bhagavad Gita. You must have thorough knowledge of these three scriptures. Then you are well qualified to practice Vedanta. Simply telling, I am doing Vedanta. What way you are doing Vedanta? I am coming to the ashrama every Sunday. I am attending the service at 11:30, though the service begins at 11 o'clock. I sometimes come and sit and sometimes I meditate. So they think coming to temple or coming to ashrama, which spreads the message of Vedanta, that itself is Vedanta. People talk that way. Vedanta. If you are to qualify yourself as a student of Vedanta, you must read very thoroughly, seriously, devotedly, under the competent teacher, these three scriptures. Brahma Sutras, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Then you will have clear conception of what you are trying to achieve in your spiritual life. So, as I said, this concept of the master is supported by the aphorisms of Brahma Sutra. In the Brahma Sutra, it is said, Ubhaya Vyapadeshatu Ahikundalavatu. That is one. I will tell you the meaning later on. Second one, Prakashashriyavadva Tejastvat. These are sutras, just like a formula, one line, for which there will be commentary for these sutras. Maybe it may run to 2-3 pages, depending upon the scholarship of the person. Shankaracharya has described these sutras very elaborately. Well, it's very interesting and it's remarkable, I should say. So the first one, Ubhaya Vyapadeshatu Ahikundalavatu. That is the relationship between Brahman and Jiva, that is individual being. We are all Jivas, having this body, having this mind, having these senses. So, the relationship between Brahman and Jiva is like that between the serpent and its coil. It is like the relation between light and its source, since both are luminous. A related problem is whether, now this, what I am talking about, it is like the relation between light and its source, that refers to the second sutra which I said, Prakashashriyavadvat tejasatvat. Prakashashriyavadvat tejastvat. That's the statement. So a related problem is whether God is with form or without form. All sorts of conflicts arise, Even if there is no conflict, we tend to make conflicts. We tend to become confused. That's the human nature. So that's why we require Guru, we require the illumined teacher to teach us, to clarify the things. There are many religious sects in India which vehemently oppose worship of anthropomorphic forms of God as idolatry, not to speak of Islam and Protestant Christianity. Even in India also, there are people who think, who criticize the image worship. And particularly there was Brahma Samaj, which was very prominent at the time when Sri Ramakrishna was there. So they were worshippers of the formless Brahman. They didn't like any kind of image worship. They would consider themselves as pseudo-Vedantists, as if they are superior Vedantists. Probably only in theory. May not be even in theory also, because Sri Ramakrishna just corrects them. During Sri Ramakrishna's time, this was a vital issue, agitating the minds of educated Hindus. Sri Ramakrishna solved this problem from the level of actual experience. He said, the experience of God with form or without form depends upon the basic structure of the aspirant's mind and the way it is oriented to reality. So I am dealing with the Ramakrishna Ideal, you must know. How Sri Ramakrishna is in a very important position as the ideal teacher of the world. How he is integrating all the religions of the world. Within its specific parameters, each experience has its own validity. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, no one can say with finality that God is only this and nothing else. Nobody can say. He is formless and again he has forms. For the devotee, he assumes forms, but he is formless for the aspirant of knowledge, for a jnani. That is, for him who looks on the world as a mere dream. Sri Ramakrishna says further, do you know what I mean? Think of Brahman, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, that is Satchidananda Sagar, as a shoreless ocean. Through the cooling influence, as it were, of the devotee's love, the water has frozen at places into blocks of ice. In other words, God now and then assumes various forms for His devotees and reveals Himself to them as a person. Lord Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, whoever worships me in whatever form, I give vision to them in the same way as they worship me. It's a fine verse. But with the rising of the sun of knowledge, what happens? The sun of knowledge, the blocks of ice melt. Then one doesn't feel anymore that God is a person, nor does one see God's forms. What He is cannot be described. Sri Ramakrishna says like this in the Gospel. This takes us to the other type of harmony achieved by Sri Ramakrishna in the field of the ideal or goal, which has a vaster scope because it embraces all religions. Most of the religions in the world, especially Christianity and Islam, and many Hindu sects also accept a personal God, whether non-anthropomorphic or anthropomorphic. But they hold divergent views regarding His true nature, and this has led to inter-religious conflicts and even wars. How many wars have been fought in the name of religion? Sri Ramakrishna's greatest contribution in this field, he reconciles these differences from the point of view of linguistic analysis, which is now becoming a powerful tool in the hands of modern philosophers. The God of Hindus is not different from the God of Christians, it is not different from the God of Muslims, but He appears to be different because the religious language, that is, the symbols, images and myths used in describing Him, varies from one religion to other religion. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, the reality is one and the same. The difference is in name and form. He gives the example. It is like water called in different languages by different names. They call it as jal, pani and so forth. Suppose there are 3 or 4 bathing ghats on a lake. The Hindus go there to drink water and they call it as jal. The Muslims, they go to another place, drink the same water but call it as pani. The Englishman goes at a third place, drinks the same water but calls it as water. All 3 denote one and the same thing. Where is the difference? The difference being in the name only, not in the content. Content is same, names are different. In the same way, some people address the reality as Allah, some people call Him as God, and some call Him as Brahman, and some as Kali, and some other people call the same God as Rama, Jesus, Durga, Hari. Different names. How many names? This statement of Sri Ramakrishna may appear to be very simple, but it is pregnant with deep significance for universal inter-religious understanding and harmony. So much for harmony in the field of the ideal or goal of religion. Now we shall study this second aspect of the religion which I mentioned earlier, Hita. First is Tattva. Tattva I've already told. Ideal or goal. Now I am taking the Hita aspect of the religion. Hita means suitable means or path to the goal. Here also, how Sri Ramakrishna has achieved reconciliation. His whole life is a life of harmony and concordance. Harmony of the means is different from the harmony of the goal. Whereas the goal of all spiritual paths is the one God, the paths themselves are diverse. But this idea does not mean that they are discordant. All spiritual paths, jnana, bhakti, yoga, karma, and the various paths in other religions, they are all valid means of realizing God. All the paths are true. That is Sri Ramakrishna's wonderful statement. He validates all the paths. No path is untrue. Every path is true. Every path leads to the goal. This idea Sri Ramakrishna learned from his own actual experience. The choice of a path depends upon a person's temperament, and everyone must have the freedom to choose his own path. Not like forcibly converting. Come on, you accept this religion. You will be taken to heavens in 5 seconds. Even 5 million years, you won't be taken to heaven. Even after 5 million years, you will not be able to go to heavens unless he practices spirituality in the real sense of the term. So, each one must be allowed to choose his own path. Keep it open. It is just like entering to library. Take whatever book you want. Whatever book you want, you take and read and enrich yourself. So, Sri Ramakrishna never allowed any of his followers to criticize any religious path. If you are telling I am going to Vedanta, you have to be very careful. Careful in the sense you should not criticize anyone. Then only you are eligible to come to Ramakrishna Vedanta. He encouraged each of them to stick to his own path and guided him along that. People, aspirants practicing bhakti, aspirants practicing jnana, aspirants practicing yoga, those who practice karma, all came to Sri Ramakrishna and got guidance in their paths. Sri Ramakrishna was a teacher for each one of them. He would encourage them to go in their own path. He would never say, cross this path, come over this way. No. He would encourage him to go in one's own path. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Swadharma means according to your own temperament, your own convention, your own tradition, follow the religion. It is none of your business to criticize others. The third aspect of religion is Purushartha. I said there are three aspects. One is Tattva, second one is Hita, third one is Purushartha. That is value fulfillment resulting from the actual realization of the ideal. The highest value cherished by the traditional Indian religions is moksha, meaning liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from bondage and sorrow. And the experience of unalloyed bliss. That is Purushartha. The nature of this experience is also a matter of controversy among the various sects and religions. Take any field, there will be some conflicts. There will be always people to debate. The dualists, Dvaitins, hold that in this state, the individual self remains distinct from the Supreme Self. That means, to give an example, if there are 100 people here, these 100 people remain as 100 people and Paramatman remains as Paramatman. That's what dualists say. While the non-dualists hold that they become one. When you realize the ultimate reality, you are no more little self, you are that Supreme Self itself. An attempt is often made to overcome this controversy by making dualism, qualified monism, and non-dualism three successive stages in the ascending scale of experience. Well, this, however, is unacceptable to the dualists who do not recognize non-dualistic experience as the highest. Now here comes Sri Ramakrishna Ideal. If you come to Sri Ramakrishna, you will be able to solve all these controversies. They are wiped away. Sri Ramakrishna has reconciled these views in a remarkable way. How? According to Sri Ramakrishna, non-dualistic realization marks the highest peak of spiritual experience, but not its final end. After attaining the peak experience, when the illumined soul comes down to the relative plane, what he sees? He sees all beings permeated with divine consciousness. This is, of course, a dualistic experience, but it is not for that reason a lower experience. In this connection, a great commentator, Madhusudana Saraswati, a very great illumined saint, he has made a remarkable statement. The Sanskrit words are so nicely composed here. Dvaitam, you can say Dvaitam. You can separate also. Dvaitam mohaya bodhat prak prapte bodhe manishaya bhaktyartham kalpitam dvaitam advaitadapi sundaram. He says, dualism is deluding before full realization, but cultivated for the sake of bhakti After attaining the full illumination, it is more beautiful than non-dualism. That's what he says. Thus, Sri Ramakrishna has made Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita and Advaita three modes of the highest spiritual experience. He has made dualists, qualified monists and non-dualists. What did he do? He made them sit around the round table of spiritual experience. Round table. What does it signify? It assigns equal status to all. When you are sitting in the round table, everyone is equal. It is not right to categorize Sri Ramakrishna's thought as Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita or Advaita. So vast and all-embracing is his consciousness that it admits of no such divisions. All that we may say of it is that it is paripurna, all-filling, completely integral. As regards the practical aspect of Purushartha, the traditional Indian view is that the illumined soul simply lives unaffected by the joys and sorrows of life, waiting patiently for the death of his body. Such a person is called Jivan Mukta, liberated in life. They are not bothered. Let the body remain as long as it wants to live. Let it go when it wants to go. This ideal does not satisfy the modern man's social awareness and commitment. Because modern man is, I should say, overconscious about his social aspect. Here comes the importance of Sri Ramakrishna's ideal of the Vijnani. Who is Vijnani? The man of integral realization. What he does? He dedicates his life to the service of God in man. So he takes care of this social aspect of human life. Only Vijnani can do that. Through this ideal, the master, that is Sri Ramakrishna, has harmonized the ancient Jivan Mukta ideal with the norms and needs of contemporary society. This is Sri Ramakrishna's ideal of the perfect man. It is this ideal Swami Vivekananda gave to the world. Atmano mokshartham jagadhitaya cha. For the realization of the self and serving the humanity. The twin ideals that makes a person of integral realization. That is the ideal given by Sri Ramakrishna. The same topic I will continue next Tuesday also. The new spiritual tradition, how Sri Ramakrishna has formulated, I am trying to dwell on that subject in my next Tuesday class. Page 600. Hearing the loud music, many people gathered about the room The verandas to the south and north and the semicircular porch to the west of the room were crowded with people. Even passengers in the boats going along the Ganges were attracted by the kirtan. The music was over. Sri Ramakrishna bowed to the Divine Mother and said, Bhagavata Bhakta Bhagavan. My salutations to the Jnanis, my salutations to the Yogis, my salutations to the Bhaktas. See how he is reconciling. Everywhere he tries to integrate all the spiritual aspirants. The idea is there should not be any conflict and people should not unnecessarily waste their energy in conflicts. That's the point. The master was seated on the semicircular porch with Nilakantha and the other devotees. The autumn moon flooded all the quarters with light. Sri Ramakrishna and Nilakantha talked. Nilakantha said, You are none other than Gauranga. Master said, Why should you say such a thing? I am the servant of all. The waves belong to the Ganges, but does the Ganges belong to the waves? Nilakantha said, You may say whatever you like, but we regard you as Gauranga himself. Master, tenderly, in an ecstatic mood, said, My dear sir, I tried to seek my eye, but I do not find it. Hanuman said, O Rama, sometimes I think that you are the whole and I am a part, and sometimes that you are the master and I am your servant. But when I have the knowledge of reality, I say that you are I and I am you. Nilakantha said, What shall I say, sir? Please be gracious to us. Sri Ramakrishna was delighted with Nilakantha's company. He said to the musician, For you to have come here, you whom people see as a result of many austerities and prayers, listen to a song. The master sang a song, 2 lines of which ran, When the blissful mother comes to my house, how much of the Chandi I shall hear, how many monks will come here, and how many yogis with matted locks. He said, continuing, As long as the Divine Mother has come here, many yogis with matted locks will come too. Sri Ramakrishna laughed. To M. Baburam and the other devotees, he said, I feel very much like laughing. Just fancy, I am singing for these musicians. Nilakantha said, We go about singing, but today we have had our true reward. Master said smilingly, when a shopkeeper sells an article, he sometimes gives a little extra something to the buyer. You sang at Nabin's house and have given the extra something here. All laughed. The next chapter is advice to Ishan. Sri Ramakrishna lay on the small couch in his room at Dakshineshwar temple garden. It was about 2 in the afternoon. M and Priya Mukherjee were sitting on the floor. M had left his school at 1 o'clock and had just arrived at Dakshineshwar. The master was telling anecdotes about the calculating nature of the wealthy Jadu Malik. Master said, Once I went to Jadu Malik's house. He asked right away, How much is the carriage hire? Someone told him it was 3 rupees and 2 annas. Then he questioned me about it. Next, one of his people secretly asked the coachman, who said it was 3 rupees and 4 annas. All laugh. At that, he ran to us and said, How much did you say the carriage hire was? A broker was present. He said to Jadu, There is a plot of land at Boro Bazaar for sale. Will you buy it? Jadoo asked the price, and the broker told him, Jadoo said, won't he give it for less? I said to Jadoo, come, you are not going to buy the land. You are only bargaining. Isn't that so? He turned to me and laughed. That is the nature of the worldly man. He wants people to come to him. That spreads his name in the market. Jadoo went to Other's house. I told him it had made Other very happy. He said, What? What? Was he really happy? A certain Malik came to Jadoo's house. He was very clever and deceitful. I saw it in his eyes. I looked at him and said, it's not good to be clever. The crow is very clever, but it eats others' filth. I could tell he was badly off. Jadoo's mother was amazed and said to me, how did you know he hadn't a penny? I saw it from his appearance. Narayan entered the room and sat on the floor. Master said to Priyanath, well, your Hari is a fine young man. Priyanath said, what is so fine about him? Of course, he has a childlike nature. Narayan said, he addressed his wife as mother. Master said, what? Even I can't do that. And he calls her mother? To Priyanath. You see, the boy is very quiet. His mind is directed to God. Sri Ramakrishna changed the subject of conversation. We shall stop here, continue next Tuesday. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and Soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with desire and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.